invasion. In 47 years, they fought back, and Britishers never were able to conquer the Nagas, even at that time. It was only towards the end of 1880, December, on December 28 or 29, I'm not sure now, that a verbal agreement was worked out between the Britishers and the Nagas. And they were allowed to administer parts of Naga area. Only administer, not even to rule, because they have never conquered also. But they were administered because Nagas were still very illiterate, very backward. And Britishers ruled parts of our land, only parts of our land. President Kwanyama, Wakal, Moulton, and got a few of them. For 67 years, they occupied our land and colonized our land. When they left our land, it was left to the mercy of the new independent India, the so-called world's largest democracy or biggest democracy or whatever, and Burma, one of the countries not worth mentioning about. So it is now for almost 80 years now that we've been living under so-called Indian occupation and Burmese occupation. Today, a bunch of renegade nomads, I would not even like to call them cookies, some nomads, whom we get are able to challenge the Nagas and to rewrite our history, saying that this is a fight between cookies and tangkuls. Who says that tangkuls are not Nagas? So where did our history start and where will our history end? Tangkuls are one of the shapers, molders of the Naga history, as it is today. But what led to this situation in which we are today? Why are we gathered here in a small number? I'm not blaming the number of people here, but the situation itself. And thank you for all of you who have come here. Thank you, NSVB. Despite the fragility of such a gathering, you have gathered guts. So even if 10 people are standing there, you represent 10,000 voices. And I want to thank you for that. So, what led some bunch of renegades or mercenaries to challenge the Nagas, to occupy and claim our land, to take our homes, to kill our women and children, to enter our house and kill our brothers, our parents? What is this? So looking back right from the British invasion to the Indian occupation, after India occupied, I think now we're almost 3 generations of Nagas are passing this stage of history. We are in the last stage of the 3 generations of Nagas, I presume. And I want to think that young people who are standing here and who are standing with you in thoughts and in prayers back home will be the 4th-generation Nagas. But to say that the 3rd-generation Nagas have not been able to stand even for half of what the previous generation have did. That's why we're in this situation today. The ceasefire period, which will be 30 years in a couple of months from now, it brought a lot of political victories. We have made achievements which we could not make during the war situation. We have brought Indian government on its knees. The Naga story was discussed and negotiated with Indian prime ministers, right from New York to Osaka in Japan. It has covered the entire globe. Is that not an achievement? And this compelled the government of India to sign the framework agreement in 2015. But now they cannot live up to their commitment, which is usual. India could not even live up to the 9-point agreement. India could not even satisfy half of the 16-point agreement. Instead, it keeps on backtracking. So, in order to divert the whole attention, cookies are being used as a proxy war, to wage a proxy war because, against the Nagas. Because of government of India also cannot afford to be the first person to break the ceasefire ground rules. Because the world is a witness. The world is a witness to this ceasefire. United Nations is a witness. And I said from America to Japan, every country that have witnessed the negotiation are looking at India. And I told you the United Nations several times in New York, in Geneva, that if you do not monitor the government of India, even in this ceasefire agreement, 1997 ceasefire agreement, and the negotiations, they will go back on his word. They don't shy away from eating their own vomits. I've told them again and again. Even for the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, we have been, ever since ceasefire came, from 1998 till I was barred, we've been sharing this. And the United Nations have also been secretly sending its representative to different parts of India, Kashmir, Northeast, but they were never allowed to cross Guwahati. But every year India is under the Universal Periodic Review. In after every 4 years, India has been questioned again and again. Even in 1991, the United Nations have summoned the government of India through its Attorney General to New York. The United Nations established a human rights committee, 18 countries human rights committee, and drilled and questioned government of India why Armed Forces Special Powers Act is in existence in a democracy. And which compelled the government of India to institute the Jivan Reddy Commission in 2004. And in 2005, the Jivan Reddy Commission submitted its report to its own government that Armed Forces Special Powers Act should be removed or repealed or modified. The Supreme Court of India, even Democratic Supreme Court of India, upheld the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Then the Reddy Commission, the India's own commission, I tell you, this is not even the outsiders. India's own senior judges, they said, okay, we cannot repeal Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Remove the word shoot to kill. Shoot to kill. Remove this word. That is what I refused. When we made some more in-depth analysis, and since some of these people in the Reddy Commission were friends who were approachable, they quietly shared that if government of India even attempt to repeal or change some of these clauses, the Indian Army generals stationed in Northeast, they threatened the government of India that they will all withdraw from Northeast. Without this, they will not stay. This is something confidential, which I should not be sharing, but those people who are involved in this mechanism, they share with me. Today, in these 30 years of ceaseless ceasefire and negotiation, our people have been thoroughly spoiled, our movement leaders have been thoroughly corrupted, the public has been thoroughly corrupted. People in my age group, and maybe even younger, people who think they are representatives of Nagas or heroes and heroines of the Naga society. Everybody was busy chasing rainbows and forgot the issues. The entire Naga story, political negotiation, the fate of the Naga political negotiation. People who fought against the Naga movement, from within the Naga movement, started taking ownership. People who are elected under the government of India, for whom it was sort of a curse for them to even interfere into the Naga political affairs. They were not even allowed to talk about 371 Class A. They're not allowed to talk about 16-point agreement in the days of NNC when Nagas were an undivided house. To utter these words in the public will just be asking for their own punishment. And there's nobody to question that verdict. Today everybody is talking about 371, about Constitution of India. Even in the present crisis, I'm so ashamed to even hear some people, even among us, unknowingly asking justice from government of India. Asking, are we not also Indians? My God, I have heard for the first time. Are we not Indians? Are Nagas not Indians? This is the words of the cookies in 2023. Not Naga words. And they beg for mercy. They kneel on the ground. They lick the boots of Indian politicians. And so they got their mercy. And Assam rifles are covering for them now. In this present crisis, as every day you will see. Cookies are mercenaries, Indian soldiers, which are Assam rifles, but it's not. It is the Indian government. And we're asking justice from India. We're asking protection from Indian army who have killed, raped, tortured, and burned our entire villages. For years and years, generations have been destroyed. And today we're asking for mercy, for justice from our own enemies who is killing us. I cannot understand the way our mind is thinking now. We're so confused. We're so corrupted. We're so spoiled. You see rainbows everywhere. That's why we are chasing wild rainbows. But these are mirages. These are mirages in the desert. Let us stop chasing rainbows. Let us look after our own homes. Today, you have come in a small number, but with a very big heart. Who is burning? National Highway 202 is burning. But what about the entire stretch of National Highway 29, 39, or other highways? What about the international borders? Are they even aware or even concerned? This is the fate of the situation Nagas have brought ourselves in. And we cannot blame anybody. And because we keep blaming each other, that we are being humiliated and insulted again and again. We have to stop this blame game. We have to stop pointing fingers. And yes, even many of our national leaders, they have maybe disappointed us. Some will say betrayed. But at least they have done their parts when they were in their youth. When they were able and strong, many of them have become weak and old, fragile. Look at our leaders, like some of the previous leaders have mentioned. Look at Adino, look at Moiba. They are physically with us, thank God for that. And as long as their heart is beating and their air is breathing, that is what we ask from God. Their energy, their blessing will continue to be with us. But what about us? We have contributed nothing. We have just come into the world, in fact. We have not even seen a single bullet being fired. And we're blaming, condemning our own national workers. We have to become national workers. Otherwise, how do we blame people? And we have to stop asking anything from government of India because they will never give us. We don't even have to argue with the cookies or makers. No need to debate, but do what has to be done. Stop complaining. Stop writing press releases. Stop hundreds of condolence messages. I sometimes feel sorry even for the soul of the dead. Are they grateful Or are they feeling sad? Are they turning in their graves? I don't know. We condemn, we say condolences, condolence prayers. Beyond that, just get angry among ourselves. Have we even stepped out of our compound to confront who is creating this problem here? Who am I to say that when I'm comfortably sitting at Kohima? To my people who are in the borders of Burma and Nagaland. But our people have come to this stage.